So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long have you been in the UK?
Hi, my name's Rob, and I'm from South Africa. I have been in the UK for 21 months now, still settling in, still finding my feet, learning a lot. And yes, there have been challenges, but there have also been very good highlights as well. I'm starting to settle down and feel more comfortable and feel at home.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for talking to me today. I know we just wanted to talk a little bit about the obstacles that you faced moving to the UK. What would you say was the main obstacle that you faced?
It's probably employment. And I think there are numerous jobs here if you're willing to accept. But I came across, and I use the words lost in translation. And by that, I mean I came to the UK with solid experiences in my fields through my university degrees. And I also had a very strong South African CV, which I thought. But now translating all those experiences into the UK job market, I found this was my main challenge. I believe recruiters didn't always recognize South African qualifications or work experience or references. And I can understand that there was a preference placed on work experience in the UK itself. So I had to basically reframe my entire professional narrative and make it more relevant to local employers. Networking did prove itself, and that's possibly, even though I did plan a lot of things before I even made the move, I wish probably I'd started networking a little bit earlier, and
Yeah.
tapping more into the job market in terms of availability instead of just thinking it's going to be easy.
So, did you manage to get the sort of jobs that you were hoping to get or that you were applying for?
And no, and it was a bit of a downer. You start losing a bit of faith in yourself other than anything else. And it's because particularly where I'm from in the human resources and financial environment, there are a lot of legislative differences, and so you'd have to transfer those skills into some form of UK qualification. But I did come here with an open mind, knowing that that could quite easily be the case. And so you need to resort to, even if it's temporary by nature, doing something that may be totally out of your comfort zone, just to get your foot in that door, gain some sort of UK experience, and start building up sort of some form of employment record for yourself going forward.
What did that mean for you? As in, what did you have to do?
I started off uh, cleaning ovens.
Mm.
And I was doing that 12, 14 hours a day, but having that relevant mindset, which I felt was very important, it was not really a concern for me. It was an ends to meet my objectives.
You're not cleaning ovens currently?
No,
Okay, all right.
not even my own. But yes, you have to start somewhere. And if you're going to turn up your nose and just turn down every opportunity that may arise, well, then you're not going to succeed,
Yeah.
I don't believe.
Okay. So, that sounds like a familiar story from the people that I've spoken to about, translating that experience over, particularly, and like you said, accepting jobs that for that, particularly that sort of starter job, guaranteeing that income that you might not normally want to do. But the progression was fairly quick for you.
Yes, it was. As I say, I've been in the country for 21 months now, feeling far more stabilized from an employment perspective, understanding more of the culture of businesses. It's different. It's the way companies communicate, and there are just various differences which I have picked up over the last few months. Yes.
Okay. And how did you find certain other things? One of the main obstacles that we hear about is accommodation. Did you have somewhere to live when you arrived?
Um, I was very fortunate. Even before I left South Africa, my son, who used to live in the same complex as me and got on friendly terms with one of the owners whose flat became available. He spoke to him, so I was very, very fortunate in that I landed and literally within a few hours had moved into my flat, which I'm still in today, without any excessive costs or waiting times or 6 months rentals in advance or anything along those lines.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds like a good arrangement.
Yeah, no, it was, and very grateful and thankful for it. Yes.
Yeah. And so your son moved over before you.
Yes, he did. He moved over close to a year before me on an ancestral visa together with his fiancée, and they were both fortunate in a way. They had jobs lined up before they even arrived in the country. So, yes, employment for them was a totally different experience as it was for me, but
Yeah. Do you think that's because they were young enough to not have to translate as much experience, or?
um, funny enough, my current daughter-in-law came over as a teacher, so very
Mm.
little transfer, or changes expected. And my son started a totally new career in the IT environment.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
Yeah. And your wife moved over as well?
yes, she moved over uh, just about a year after me. So she's been here since October 2024. She came over and joined me on a spousal visa. And for anybody who's interested, I think that's probably can be a very traumatic experience, when you're away from your loved ones for a long time. I was very lucky in that I had my son here,
Mm.
which made a world of difference. And bringing her over, it was a long process, probably
Mm.
one of the most difficult processes of all the visas coming over, I think, and obviously quite expensive.
And that was just, there was too many hurdles to cross to bring you both over together.
Yes, there were. When you're sitting in South Africa with a house to sell, market had become very depressed, so it was an absolute buyer's market.
Mm.
Another thing, just swallow the bullet, so to speak, and just eventually accept, what you can get in terms of the market at the time. So no, we could not have come over together. We had to go through the process of a house sale, and also I obviously had certain requirements from my side to get her here in terms of I had to have employment and financial stability and be able to prove that through bank accounts and all the rest as part of her process.
Yeah,
It could
absolutely.
never have happened jointly, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously you thought about moving over to the UK for quite a while. What was it that was pulling over to the UK, and did it live up to your expectations?
I think probably my mother having been born here and both sets of my grandparents have been born here, there was always a pull somehow. I
Mm.
can't really explain it. And I only ever visited here once before, and that was about 30 years ago. Um, And the main pull, I suppose, was none of us really had any family left in South Africa. So the choice was to come over and be closer to my son. Regrets? No, not at the moment. I think there's been a lot of pluses
Yeah.
for me from a healthcare perspective. Public transport and the availability was a huge wow factor for me. It really was excessively convenient.
Just the weather, I guess. Just the weather.
I was getting onto that. Yeah, but that's getting used to. And if you want to shutter yourself in
Mm.
and hide behind closed doors and windows, weren't brought up like that. So we've tried to maintain as much outdoor activity as possible,
Mm-hmm.
come rain or sunshine every now and again. But yes, you get through that. It is what you make of it. And I think one of the biggest factors for anybody moving across is to ensure that you have a really good support system. You know, even if it's just people supporting you from where you came from or people here. I do have friends here in the UK, which I've known for over 40 years. And so it's made a world of difference. Just people rooting for you and making it all possible.
Excellent. Well, thank you again like I say, we just want to have a quick chat about your experiences. Appreciate it. And I'm sure some people will find it very interesting. Thank you very much.
Yes, if I could just add a couple of things, if you don't mind.
Of course. Yeah, of
Some
course.
little things I was thinking about while we've been chatting. Don't convert in your head all the time. If you do that, you're going to go absolutely crazy with the exchange rate. And I'm really being serious about it. You actually get it out of your head. Really plan as much as you can up front.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure that in your being, you're making the right move. And then try not to waver from that. As soon as you start sidestepping, you're not going to move forward. It is a new life. There are challenges, but I feel safe here. I feel secure. And you don't have to bring everything with you. Everything, there's everything you can buy in any other country is here.
And the houses are smaller, so
the house is smaller, so easier to clean. I suppose, Paul, a final comment from my side is, you are moving to a strange country. Respect their rules, respect their people, and respect how they do things. Don't comment negatively all the time. Accept it or move on.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Rob.
Okay, Paul. Thanks very much.
Speak to you very soon. Take care.